last year set the record for the highest rate of border crossing attempts in over 20 years. In response to the growing migrant crisis, U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris just directed almost $2 billion in private sector funding towards job growth. On top of that, the Biden administration has been fervently pushing for Western corporations to expand operations in Latin America. Visa has announced plans to bring millions of Latin Americans into a formal financial system, and Millicom has pledged over $700 million towards expanding telecommunications infrastructure. All of these initiatives were unveiled at the Summit of the Americas held last week in Los Angeles. Why does this summit matter, and why is the US suddenly spending billions of dollars on developing Latin America? Drama preceded the event as the US intentionally excluded Nicaragua, Venezuela, and Cuba from the invite list. Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador ditched the event in protest of the diplomatic snub. Citing human rights violations and a disregard for democracy, the Biden administration maintains its refusal to allow what it considers to be dictatorial governments at the table. Crucially, Biden will still host the Mexican president at the White House on July 5th. Maintaining good relations with its southern neighbor is paramount to Washington's efforts to curb migration flows. In the short term, migration will continue to be a huge issue for Biden and the Democratic Party as they face shortfalls in several policy areas ahead of the 2022 midterm elections. Regional investment and development efforts will likely be centered on El Salvador, Honduras, and Guatemala, which are Latin America's poorest nations and significant drivers of the migrant crisis. In the long term, strengthening U.S. influence will be a top priority as China's own sway grows in the region with the expansion of the Belt and Road Initiative. For the past few years, Beijing has been simultaneously deepening its economic ties, investing in transportation infrastructure like bridges and roads. China is even developing a space program in Argentina and seeking stake in the Panama Canal while supplying hundreds of millions of COVID-19 vaccine doses. Beijing is becoming the top trading partner for an increasing number of Latin American countries. The pressure is on for Biden, who must use the Summit of the Americas to prove his administration's ability to tackle domestic issues, while the U.S. must also cement itself as a viable regional economic alternative to China.